I'm Dr. Frita, and today I'm giving you the top soul food dishes that are silently raising your blood pressure. Y'all are about to be mad at me, but please don't disinvite me to the cookout because one, I'm coming anyway, and two, I understand. I get it. I know that soul food is more than just food. It's love on a plate. It's family dinners, family reunions. It's the smell of your grandma's kitchen. I know. Both my parents were raised in the South. And listen, my mama is one of 16 children. But here's the truth of the matter. As a medical doctor, I know firsthand that many of the soul food dishes we were raised on are actually silently raising our blood pressure. And a lot of us don't quite realize it. Be sure to download your copy of my book. It's called Under Pressure. It's your step-by-step guide on how to control high blood pressure. This book is packed with valuable tools, guidelines, and information to help you to control high blood pressure. Click the link in the description to get your copy today. I'm Dr. Frita McCray-Fisher. I'm a nephrologist and high blood pressure doctor, and I've actually been quadruple board certified. Today, I'm giving you my honest truth about 5 soul food dishes that could be raising your blood pressure. Listen, this is not about canceling your culture. It's about protecting your life because we know that high blood pressure is a leading cause of strokes, heart attacks, and kidney disease. And in the Black community, we are disproportionately affected by all 3. So I want you to stay with me now and go ahead and like this video and share it with the people you care about. Because today, I'm giving you some healthy soul food swaps that will still honor the flavors we all love. Now, let's talk about the soul food high blood pressure connection. Traditionally, soul food is prepared with a lot of heavy salting, frying, smoking. Historically, there is a lot of pork in soul food that is heavily salted. And to be quite honest, this came from a necessity for survival. Specifically, let's just be honest, for Black Americans who are descendants of enslaved people. Back when our ancestors were enslaved, we weren't provided with these refrigerators or ice in order to be able to preserve our food. So what do? We heavily salted the food so that it could last and sustain our families. And when it comes to the meat choices, as a people, we weren't given the leanest, healthiest cuts of meat. And so we took what they thought of as scraps, like pieces of pork, pig ears, pigtails, pig feet, and we heavily salted these things, and we actually made them quite delicious. And most importantly, we were able to survive. Fast forward, now the health context has changed, even though many of the soul food recipes have not. And we now know that foods that are high in salt or sodium put you at a very increased risk for high blood pressure. In fact, according to the CDC, 56% of Black Americans have high blood pressure. This is the highest number of patients with high blood pressure in any ethnic group. So it's an issue that must be addressed. So let's talk about high blood pressure. High blood pressure occurs when you have an increased pressure or force inside of your blood vessel walls, causing the pressure to increase. And of course, this high blood pressure in the vessels damages your organs. When you eat foods that are high in salt, that salt causes water to follow. And so you have a lot of excess water in your blood vessels, and this increases your chances for high blood pressure. The thing about high blood pressure or hypertension is that it often has no symptoms. You can have a sky-high blood pressure with no headache, no chest pain, no dizziness. That's why it's called the silent killer. But if you're eating foods that are high in sodium, like some traditional soul food dishes every day, then you can be ruining your blood pressure, damaging your heart, your brain, your kidneys, all the while there's just silence in the background. According to the American Heart Association, most adults should actually be eating no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium or salt per day. And to be honest, in just one soul food dish, you can blow through that maximum. The key is to pay attention and to really understand what you're eating. What's the kidney connection? Well, your kidneys are largely responsible for helping to regulate your blood pressure. They help to regulate your sodium balance, your potassium balance. And high blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney failure. And how do you know whether or not you have high blood pressure? If that top number or systolic is 130 or higher, or if that bottom number, your diastolic blood pressure, is 80 or higher, you have high blood pressure. I know the definition changed somewhat recently. Make sure you watch my video on high blood pressure explained after you finish watching this video. All right, let's talk about these top 5 soul food dishes that are silently raising your blood pressure. Number 1, smoked and cured meats. I'm talking ham hocks, salted pork, smoked turkey. Here's the thing about these meats. Because they're often used to flavor vegetables like beans and greens, a lot of times we don't think of them as being salty, right? Because they're not the main dish. But listen, just one ham hock can have up to 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's what you're supposed to have in a whole 24 hours. And when it comes to processed meats in general, according to the American Heart Association and the World Health Organization, we know that they can increase your risk for cardiovascular disease, for heart disease. Even smoked turkey. Yes, I know it's turkey, but if it's smoked and salted, then it too can raise your blood pressure. The smoking and curing processes do require that a lot of salt is added. So here are some healthier swaps. Use turkey that is unsalted if you want to use a meat to flavor your beans and your greens. Also, if you are using smoked turkey, and if it does happen to be salted, soak it overnight to reduce the sodium. So put the smoked turkey in water and refrigerate it, and change the water at least once overnight in order to maximize the salt that is pulled out of the turkey. Also, try using liquid smoke or liquid herb, things that can give you that smoked flavor without all of the sodium. Be sure to consult with your doctor and a registered dietitian for other healthy swaps. I love sharing medical information with you in video form like this, but I also like to talk with you one-on-one. And guess what? I offer a telehealth concierge service. And so if you would like to schedule an appointment where I can do a full history and give you medical information one-on-one, please make sure you book with me today. I can help you from anywhere in the world, and I've really been having great success with these concierge appointments. Make sure you click the link in my description or go to my one-stop shop, dr.frita.com. Soul food dish number 2, fried chicken and other fried foods. Listen, you already know, traditionally fried chicken is a triple threat against high blood pressure. It contains high salt, high saturated fats, high inflammatory oils. Listen, my grandma used to make the best fried chicken and fried pork chops, and she, like I know a lot of y'all grandmas, would soak it in buttermilk. And then think about the breading that adds even more salt and more carbohydrates. And when you fry this chicken or this pork chop in lard, y'all know what lard is, then you're dealing with high trans fats. And we know that these fats and these inflammatory oils can cause your arteries to stiffen, and that can increase your risk for high blood pressure. Also, a lot of these trans fats, these saturated fats, will lead to high levels of bad cholesterol or LDL. This can cause a narrowing of your blood pressure due to atherosclerotic plaques, and this causes your heart to have to pump harder against high blood pressure. Not to mention, it could lead to cardiomyopathy and heart failure. Just one piece of fried chicken can have anywhere from 400 to 700 milligrams of sodium or salt. That's just one piece. And when we're talking about restaurant fried chicken, it's even worse. Think about pulling up to a fast food restaurant that sells fried chicken. If you get a 3-piece of fried chicken, a 3-piece meal, that can easily have more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium. You know I'm telling the truth. Here's a healthier swap, and I'm not saying it's an exact replica, but it is healthier. Air-fried or oven-baked chicken or fish, seasoned with herbs, garlic, lemon, and salt-free seasonings. Question: what's your favorite soul food dish? And would you try a healthier version of it? Let's talk in the comments. Soul food dish number 3, macaroni and cheese. I know mac and cheese is supposed to be a side dish, but when it comes to raising your blood pressure, it has main character energy. Listen, we know that traditional macaroni and cheese is made with lots of cheese, and according to the CDC, cheese is one of the highest dietary sources of sodium in the American diet. What else does mac and cheese have? Butter, which is full of saturated fats. All of these things cause inflammation in your blood vessels, stiffening of the arteries, and they can increase your blood pressure. A single cup of homemade macaroni and cheese can have anywhere from 600 to 900 milligrams of sodium. And you know that most people eat more than just one cup. And because, again, macaroni and cheese is a side dish, it's often paired with other high salt, high saturated fat, soul food main dishes. So macaroni and cheese can be a problem, a delicious, salty problem. Here are some healthier swaps for your macaroni and cheese. Are you ready? Instead of using traditional ultra-processed pasta for your macaroni, try chickpea, lentil, or whole wheat pasta. That way, you still get the texture of pasta, but it has more fiber and protein. You can also substitute half of the pasta for cauliflower florets or butternut squash. When it comes to that heavy butter and cream, get rid of it. Yeah, say bye-bye. And try this instead. Try using Greek yogurt or pureed cauliflower. That way, you can still have that creamy texture without all of the saturated fat. You can even try a blended cottage cheese as a replacement of a heavy cream and butter. When it comes to the cheese, use smaller amounts of a sharp, flavorful cheese like Parmesan. That way, you still get big flavor without piling on all of that extra salt. And you can even try adding in some broccoli or spinach if you want to add some extra nutrients. Now, the broccoli and macaroni and cheese might get you side-eyed at the cookout, but listen, we're talking about health, okay? Be sure to check out my book, Under Pressure, A Guide to Controlling High Blood Pressure. I share with you traditional ways of treating high blood pressure. I also cover natural, holistic ways as well. Click the link in the description or go to my one-stop shop, dr.frita.com. Soul food dish number 4, traditionally prepared collard greens. Collard greens themselves are not the problem. Collard greens, raw, are loaded with potassium, magnesium, fiber, all of which can actually lower your blood pressure. You get into problems with what you add in the pot with those collard greens, especially if you're adding ham hocks, salted pork, and smoked turkey, okay? And if you're adding salt on top of that. Truth be told, the high potassium content of collard greens can actually counteract the negative effects of salt. For example, the more potassium that you take in, the more salt you get rid of in your urine. Okay, that can help your blood pressure. Make sure you watch my video on high potassium foods that help to lower your blood pressure. And remember, if you're someone with advanced kidney disease or if you have a potassium restriction, consult with your doctor and your registered dietitian about your potassium restriction. Okay, getting back to collard greens. So yeah, potassium in and of itself can help to counterbalance sodium, but not when you load the pot down with ham hocks and heavily salted foods. And so, if you're eating collard greens the way I grew up eating them, the way my grandma Jetta Lee made them, yes, they're delicious. I won't lie. But if they're loaded with ham hocks and other salt, they can be silently raising your blood pressure. Not to fear, you don't have to give up your collard greens. Here are some healthier swaps. Try making your collard greens with no meat. Yeah, you can have really great flavor with no meat. Try using smoked paprika, garlic, onions, apple cider vinegar. You can use some olive oil. And if you really do want meat, then use the smoked turkey the way we talked about it before, where you get turkey that doesn't have salt, or when you soak the smoked turkey in order to extract the salt from it. You can actually get the soul food flavor without having all of that salt messing up your blood pressure. Question: have you already started modifying your soul food dishes to make them more heart healthy? If so, please share your tips with our MedHead community. Soul food dish number 5, Cornbread. Yes, I said it. Cornbread. Now I know you might be thinking of cornbread as just a harmless bread side, but listen, it's a major culprit when it comes to raising your blood pressure. Cornbread typically has baking soda, baking powder, salt, and so you know this can be high in sodium. Plus, cornbread is often made with butter and sugar, and so now you're adding in saturated fats and refined sugars. An average square of cornbread has anywhere from 300 to 400 milligrams of salt, and you know you eat more than just 1 or 2 squares of cornbread. And here's the other thing, with that sugar and that butter, we know that the saturated fats can cause stiffening arteries and high blood pressure. But here's the thing, with the sugar, we're talking about refined carbohydrates, and refined carbohydrates can cause blood sugar spikes. Blood sugar spikes will cause the insulin to rise. And when the insulin rises, it causes you to retain salt. And so even the sugar can indirectly raise your blood pressure. Okay, cornbread is a problem. And when we're talking about soul food dinners, you're likely not eating the cornbread alone. You are pairing this cornbread with other high sodium foods. So let's talk about some healthier swaps when it comes to cornbread. Try replacing the white flour with cornmeal mixed with whole wheat, almond, or chickpea flour. This way you get more fiber and nutrients with every bite of your cornbread. Also, instead of butter, try using some unsweetened applesauce to cut way back on that saturated fat. You can even try adding a cup of low-fat yogurt in order to keep that creamy texture. Also, use a low-salt baking soda and don't add additional salt in order to cut back on the sodium content. Here's another swap you can try for your cornbread. Add diced fresh jalapenos or fresh herbs like rosemary and chives. This gives you that nice little spice and flavor to take your mind out of the fact that you've taken away some of the salt. This allows you to still have some rich soul food flavor with your cornbread without all of the salt load. Soul food does not have to be the enemy. We can make healthier swaps while still honoring our culture and enjoying those rich, deep flavors we all love so well. Instead of using smoked ham hocks, use paprika or even a liquid smoke flavor. Instead of loading your food down with salt, try garlic, herbs, lemon, other flavors. Instead of using a whole bunch of refined sugars, try certain swaps like honey or unsweetened applesauce. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your healthy diet be. And so you can make these swaps gradually. And remember, when it comes to cutting back salt, it can take a while. You can try to do it gradually, or I can tell you what I did. I pretty much had to just kind of cut back almost cold turkey with the heavy salt. And it takes about 2 to 3 weeks of food tasting like really bland, to be honest, in a lot of cases. And then you get used to it, and you'll find that foods that you used to eat and really enjoy are just naturally really salty to you. When it comes to your high blood pressure and your health, it's worth making the swaps. A really great diet for high blood pressure prevention is the DASH diet. I want you to check it out because what you'll find is that a lot of traditional soul foods can really pair well with the DASH food when cooked in a more healthy manner. Foods like sweet potatoes, black-eyed peas, collard greens, okra, all of these foods, including fish, will work well with the DASH diet. You just have to really watch the salt and make sure you switch up your spices and your seasonings. Trust me, you can have some good soul food that's actually healthy. When you're cooking, just remember these top 5 traditionally cooked soul foods that can be silently increasing your blood pressure, and use these healthy swaps and switch up the way that you prepare them. So when it comes to smoked and cured meats, fried chicken and fried pork chops, macaroni and cheese, traditionally prepared collard greens and cornbread, now you know what to do. And listen, I want you to like this video and make sure you share it with someone you care about who also enjoys soul food. As always, I appreciate your support, and I want you to continue to do your best to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm Dr. Frita.